Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are here with the all-pick cycle for the Balrogs versus Shazam Game 3 decider here in the best of 3 round 1 of the BTS series America's number 3. I'm myself and Blaze, joined once again by MotPax, going back into the picks and talking about it, as we are going to be going right back with pretty much the exact same setup.
Yes, thankfully we don't have to do the draft again, so we are ready to go. And looks like they're just taking their time. Everyone's still preparing. Shazam probably still just thinking about what I'm going to do about this brood. As a faceless void with the new changes and kind of the... I mean, you obviously have the nuke of the brood mother, but the consistent damage of the spiders overall, I don't think that there's any sort of a situation where he can go one-on-one against the brood. There's just no way. So we'll be looking to see how they want to try and deal with this.
Well, the Bristleback is that pick. That's the intention here.
Yeah, no, for sure.
We'll go up against it. It's just, if the Brood positions herself very carefully, uses her spiders, even to farm the new hard camp towards the secret shop, and of course tries to spread it into the western jungle as well, you're going to be seeing that she'll be able to kind of create this network that's very difficult for Shazam to punish. They don't really have that great of disables. Like the Lion brings a lot, obviously, but the Lich doesn't bring enough, and he's probably going to stay towards mid. So we are going to see that even if they drop sentries on the Broodmother, they can only punish her so much. She's still going to get the Soul Ring out at a great time, and it's going to be on the Bristleback to get the Quill Sprays out, get the spiders, and of course that's Broodmother playing keep away. So all in all, she's not going to dominate the lane, assuming the Lich stays mid. If the Lich goes bottom, he's dead every time he tries to go for a pull. But otherwise, I believe that, in fact, we can be looking for a pretty even matchup where the Bristleback will get even more farm than he normally would, but the Broodmother shouldn't have a bad time either.
Alright, well, I hope Spirit Siphon's okay here, and that's not the reason why we've got to pause. should be alright. There was a lot of pings being thrown out here from Suta, so just keeping their eyes on that Faceless Void. And it's a little bit of an interesting choice here, obviously, having both heroes down here right away, you know? You don't have anyone sitting up top. They don't quite know what's going on, don't know where the Broodmother's going to be, and certainly the onus is on Shazam to try and get this figured out.
I believe that the objective here for the Faceless Void is, in case there was like a smoke play again, that Void is the one who could time walk out. He's the one who can make the safest leap to safety. So I feel like that's kind of that thing where he won't die in the disables that Balrogs have available, so he should be the one to kind of scout the smoke, even though he immediately has to run back to the off lane now that they've scouted out their oppositions with a well-placed ward.
Well, that'll be the case, and of course you already have SVG up here doing the nice little role of the Lich. Gonna be able to sacrifice one of these creeps, give his off lane a little bit of an easier time, and look at the items he's starting with as well. Got himself a little bit of a shared tango thrown over by the Invoker. Looks like he had maybe one too many. Didn't need any more. Managed to get one back.
The battle begins.
Well, we'll see that all balanced out. We're actually going to see the Lich sacrifice top here. SVG gets a solo experience for a melee creep, and is going to be taking that away from the Luna, trying to slow her roll a little bit. So I guess it's going to be the Void making his way to the top lane, getting an Iron Talon most likely pretty early. If yeah, it seems to be the clear thing, just to handle himself. But we actually see Jericho also moving around in an interesting fashion, has the Orb of Venom early on. Hearing some Spirit Siphon, but nothing the Invoker has to worry about just yet. Anyway, so yeah, the Spirit Breaker is going to hang out around the mid lane. He has not been scouted by this ward, so this is going to be good for Jericho, and he's actually going to go right through. So they don't have any spells to follow it up. It's just going to be some harassment damage, but it will bring him pretty low pretty quickly.
Gotta think CC's like pretty triggered right now. Like he's just like, oh my, like I can't take this, man. He's probably already pinging somebody, you know. It's like, please help me. Lion, nice play. Yeah. He gets just the one sentry, puts it inside the trees there. Pretty cutesy. Making sure that he's gonna be able to take that one down.
Exactly. The Soto was fed one obs, one sentry from his allied supports, so it is going to be a position where the Broodmother her job is to try to get 2 for 1 on the sentry wards, because she knows that she'll get the first one. That's as soon as she gets attacked in Invis, she knows there's a sentry ward she can counter, and she should just be able to tango it. But the second one is a little bit harder, and Lion, he puts it in the Fog of War, so that it's something that Sota can't take advantage of. But we're also seeing the other lanes going pretty active. The Invoker's actually trading pretty heavily with this Death Prophet, but generally speaking, he's losing out on the trades, and Luna was also taking some pretty heavy harassment since the Lich hit level 2.
Yeah, it's not exactly the most common thing. Like, we had the whole Lich Doom dual offlane was definitely a really big thing. Even in the last couple patches, we saw a lot of success shown from that for multiple teams. Lich just offering so much. It's like a better version of another Shaker blocking your wave because he's so much more sacrificial. And I mean that in the second sense that all he has to do is press Q the whole time. Like, he's getting mana. He's much more sustainable as well than having to like walk back to Fountain. Still gonna be able to control your lane, share a little bit of experience with you, and now you have the added bonus. You don't have to worry about it as. It looks like you can see these angles that Jericho's taking here. Oh, he will just walk out. He's not even going to go in for the charge.
He's just going to leech for 2, I think. He's actually going to be going top covering the regen rune, but I don't think he gets much value out of that. So, yeah, he just needs to leech level 2. That's where he can actually start creating kill opportunities. And there it is. The Greater Bash is online for him. But once again, he is under the ward. So Invoker should know exactly what to expect. And I assume he'll just be ready to cold snap at any point. There it is.
Yeah.
He's going to use it, however, on the Death Prophet, so we're going to see a charge through. Fairy Fire or not, we're actually going to be seeing Spirit Breaker just go right on top of him. He saw the Spirit Breaker walk up there, but he thought that with enough creeps that he could punish Tomato before Jericho came into play. He was absolutely wrong. First blood spilled by the Dire, specifically the Death Prophet.
And you can see that Stanking was ready. Like, this is what they talked about in the draft. This is what they were ready for. It was like, how are you going to deal with this pressure in the mid lane? It's going to be, I'm going to rotate in. I'll have both my stuns. That's the play. And not going to be the case this time as Jericho just keeps his aggression up.
Yeah.
With Jericho? Oh my god. Tanks, what, 3 shots there for free?
Yeah, but I think that okay. Yeah, that gank can kind of come down to a 3-step bind game. Essentially, what you're really looking for is the Invoker uses his Cold Snap on the Death Prophet, so the Spirit Breaker charges, that's step 2. And then the third step is the line rotating. With the line rotated slowly due to either miscommunication or lack of preparation, and that fail to turn around on the Spirit Breaker with the Lion stunts ends up giving Balrogs just a freebie. So it really comes down to how the Invoker as well as the line were communicating and how ready Stan King was for that play.
Oh, bottom lane, your Broodmother, she's doing okay. Doesn't have her soul ring quite yet, but in terms of levels and everything, not being zoned out here. Obviously with Lion leaving, that's going to give a little bit of hand, and as these levels start to come up, you get more Spiderlings to help harass against the Lion. Like, oh, they did get him top today.
Yep, one bash, not even sure if it's completely necessary, but they're actually going to go on Brax with the Spirit Siphon under tower. Really good movement from Tornado with the Haste Rune, and that will be the death of the Faceless Void. A kill that you usually don't get to claim this early into the game is very well accumulated there due to great execution from Balrogs, a great rotation from this DP, and I don't know, it's just like the Lion's going to be continuously forced to stay bottom to put pressure out on the Broodmother, otherwise MSS is going to break even, and they don't want that, but all in all, it just means the Invoker's having a hard time, and this top lane is even struggling, and it just seems like they need to have better awareness. They do drop down to Fresh Observer Ward. I think this will help a lot, seeing the Spirit Breaker charge in, and luckily it's just outside the sentry range of the Dire.
Oh wow, yeah, that's extremely close. And well, Death Prophet, she's shown it a couple times today in various matches. This Haste Rune is just disgusting. You don't even need 6, right? Just because of the way that Spirit Siphon is built up here with the charges. Got a couple of those ready. You can focus it on the exact target that you want to and just start beating down on them. So Brax feeling very comfortable up here. It's I really like this Void Lich offlane. I hope to see something like this more often, as we do have more of these dual lanes coming out.
We've seen it. I mean, like I said, there's natural synergy between the heroes, and we have seen it a couple times in some various regions, but it isn't like the most common thing to get the Void off to a good start. We still see some difficulty with the Face of Void offlane, and we'll actually see Benhoz. Is he actually just going to die? Well, then, that was a Hellbear Clap and a Satyr Hadouken coming through and helping out the kill on this Luna. Like, that is absolutely the Neutral Creeps setting up a freebie for the Faceless Void, but they will take their first kill of the game. As a
one more
of it.
Quill.
Yeah, they're going to get these spiders for sure. So, some decent damage on the line, but MSS is now on top of last hits, though 500 behind in network.
Alright, well, there's the Soul Ring as well. So a little bit more pressure on Stanking. If he gets any sort of a build-up of spiders, he's just in so much trouble. There's really not much you can do. If you manage to miss the Earth Spike on the group, you can see him pinging him out.
Yeah, they're going for the charge. They've got one spawn spider. They could, if he started early, they could have gone for a spawn, then a Soul Ring spawn, with the cooldown being so short at 10 seconds. But nope, we're going to see more harassment on Benhoz. Nothing going the way bottom And down onto the tower, actually the death of the Invoker. He does go down. He uses Cold Snap. He tries to Ghost Walk away. It doesn't matter because Death Prophet's already got enough damage from the spells alone. So Tornado just absolutely dominating in this matchup. And with the phase boots, it'll be even harder for the Invoker to keep his distance.
Yeah, top lane, well, I mean, they obviously just got the kill there on Benjaz, and having the poor main shield here. You can see those right clicks just really aren't doing all that much. Brax having himself a grand old time. Might not have Time Walk anymore, but he still has some of these tools available to him. But there is a charge. SUG possibly in trouble.
Yeah, it'll be a 1-for-1 here as Nightmare will be going down. Brax just going to look to disengage shortly thereafter. But Lion actually coming in, misses the Earth Spike. Unfortunately, the Spear Breaker is just too big now. And Stan King has to head for the hills, but Benhaz with the Lucid Beam.
She's so close to 6.
They got the Orb of Venom right clicks. They've got the Crypt Swarm. They've got the kill.
That fight could have been so much easier. If only like one more creep, you know? It's all those minute differences in Dota that can make so many differences. I mean, you got to imagine that Brax probably would have went down if she just had one more level there. And, well, the aggression, it's rolling on here. No wards. Did that ward spot it out? It looked like it did.
No, CCNC, no Cold Snap, no way out of this one. That is going to be the 3rd death of the Invoker. It just seems like this is not CCNC's day.
Like, what can you do in his situation? I mean,
always have Cold Snap, never use it on anything but the Spirit Breaker. That's what you do. Like,
yeah.
If the Spirit Breaker doesn't connect with his charge, there's actually you lose the lane, but you don't feed. And what he's doing is he's trying to contest the lane. He's using Alacrity. He's skilling invoking Sunstrike. It's this dynamic play that Balrogs are forcing out. Because every time the Spirit Breaker charges the top, the Invoker wants to get more aggressive mid. But that's kind of a mistake because every time he gets aggressive mid, it's when the Spirit Breaker then just turns his attention that way. It's not hard for the Spirit Breaker to have this kind of global presence on multiple lanes. And CCNC is just not respecting that. They need better wards, they need better response from the line, and Invoker just needs to keep that Cold Snap at the ready. We will see up top here, Bench Spirit getting a little bit of time dilation against her, but they're going to have to chrono for this kill, and the Sunstrike will go through. So that's why he didn't invoke Cold Snap.
Oh, get bashed down to the low ground? No, I thought SVG was going to the cliff to attempt it. That would have been so meta. But he will end up falling. Charge on a Sting. He's got stuns. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. No problem here. We're going to see Jericho actually taking a pretty big pounding. Luna's got his back, so it's not going to be much more than that. Broodmother, I have to mention this real quick before more action breaks out, but Broodmother has been creep cutting. She has been creep skipping. This is what you expect to do as soon as the Lion leaves the lane and as soon as Brood is level like 6 or 7. So we do see that she's gotten her web network spread out that way. And this is how you play against heroes like Bristleback and the Darkseer and Tide that can always deal with the spiders.
Yeah, I was actually about to bring that up as well here, as long as CCC's not going to die of this charge, which Stan King's in the right position for it. Oh, is he going to stun too early though? Oh, he got him!
Nice hacks. Nice hacks coming up for Stan King, baiting the Spirit Breaker, but he just goes ahead, pops the Fairy Fire into tower, will still go down. But the Invoker for the 4th time, and maybe Stan King for the 2nd. Now he's got a backup, and Tomato doesn't really need more than the start he's gotten. Like, in this position, he's going to be able to Exorcism with the Arcade Rune, and of course, he has found himself 5-0-2. That is a massive KDA and a kill streak that they don't want to be giving up anytime soon.
Yeah, it looks very familiar to a game I saw earlier today. It was, in fact, the last one, in which the exact same thing happened.
So what do you think about that? Like, they haven't really addressed that issue. It's a different hero, but it's still the same problem.
You know what they are addressing?
Yeah.
MSS. Yeah. Look at this rotation coming down. There's 5 heroes in the bottom lane. MSS is just hanging it out right now. Team, help me, save me. It's that Exorcism Arcade Rune as well. Like, what is that gonna do? There's nothing.
Oh, the most valuable Chain Frost of all time with a 100% hit rate on heroes. Like, that is the most valuable ultimate I've ever seen from a Lich. But no, I don't know. They're kind of on tilt. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to respond to the situation. It's Balrogs going to town. They have taken the entire bottom lane. And again, when a Death Prophet gets an Arcane Rune, she wants to use Exorcism with it because the cooldown reduction is a really big deal. So taking the bottom tier 1 by setting up the kill is exactly the play. There is no lane wards on the bottom. It's just and you can't really get a lane ward against the Broodmother because she's just going to punish your
mid?
support.
Oh, they have the charge. See if does.
You'll just keep going.
Oh, he's dead.
They don't need detection. They just have vision. They'll Crypt Swarm it, and they'll kill him. Wait, okay. Well, that works too, but they didn't know his health pool, so they didn't know if he would die to that, and they just wanted to be sure. But all the same, right now it's 12-4. Invoker has died 5 times, and it just feels like Shazam have failed to solve the problem that they faced in game number 2 very clearly, as you pointed out. And it's just where is the problem? I'm trying to think about how to phrase this, but
has to do with not even the mid lane, but MSS and the fact that you pick this Bristleback as a counter to the the Brood. We see this all the time, but we also see Axe. Nice proto here. Can they get the damage as well? We know there's no Chain Frost to do a little bit of an issue earlier. Can they get down the Nightmare? Okay, 1 down. Tomato as well. Death Prophet. There's a little bit of run back, and well, I'm thinking like you have a Bristleback, but what if this was the Axe? What if this was the Tidehunter? Like, is there actually the potential for him to use something other than a Vanguard to bring this game back? Is the question. But now that he's actually shown these fights, maybe MSS can make the difference on the Bristleback here too.
Well, he got a kill streak there, killing off the Death Prophet. 600 plus gold for him. They're going to take a tier 1 tower as well. The first bit of forward momentum. Stanking will be caught up, and there's going to be the Eclipse not bouncing exactly how they wanted it to, and the Spirit Breaker just goes down. Now the Chain Frost bounces back to Benhoz, and the Finger, and the Sunstrike combo it up for a brilliant kill. It's the massive kill swing that's allowing them to prevail, to push forward, and to bring this net worth nearly to 0 when the graph updates. But to answer your question, the Bristleback, all he has to do is just TP back whenever Brood pressures the tower. The Vanguard allows him to make it so that Brood can never kill him, and then from there he just always is able to force the Brood back, force her to essentially just be in a jungle role right now. Beyond that, like I said, he wants to soak up the damage from the Eclipse, and there's nobody that can do that better than the Bristleback at this stage.
Yeah, no, that's true. Like he definitely doesn't offer that same element in terms of like an initiation or snowballing into other parts of the map. But when it comes to dealing with Brood, like really, there's no potential way with the Vanguard that Suta's gonna be able to take care of him. And as long as he can hold this lane, that could be that one saving grace they do have. Is the Roshan pressure will soon be coming.
Alrighty, so Roshan going to be going down very quickly. It looks like there's not much hope for it. And this is them without the Eclipse available. They're able to take such a key objective. So Wave of Terror obviously helping out with the ultimate. But we're actually going to see Stanking go great magical damage burst combo that nearly kills off all the spiders. Can they get Stanking out of this? For now, it's Suta running away, but Stanking is getting charged on. The spiders will keep on top of him. Stanking, he doesn't have a TP, and he Earth Spikes to get himself away, which seems like a good idea until boom! Spirit Breaker brings him down. Now in a little bit of a rough patch though. Brax will stay on top of him, make sure his charge stays on cooldown, and they'll just run him down with their right clicks as well as their spells. So in the end, not too shabby of a response from Shazam, although the Roshan is something they definitely didn't want to see go the way of Balrogs.
That was a really well-played gank, though, from Jericho. The fact that he did stop and use the distance of the Nether Strike to ensure that he wasn't going to get stunned. Like, obviously, they did have the ward, so maybe he just couldn't be too sure what level Hex was, what cooldown it's going to be at, right? You know, it's all by the seconds. You can't be too sure from the inside the game view, so I was actually pretty impressed by that, but, you know, in the end, 3 heroes come back. What are you going to do?
Certainly. Now we're going to be seeing a big movement up top, trying to address this Death Prophet once and for all. They've killed her once, they've got a lot of gold, but they need a lot more if they're going to be bringing this game back in a big way. We do have the Midas up for the Invoker, a little late, but it's still going to be that key item that gets him to the levels he needs. He has Forge Spirits, he has Midas. If they can find a way to get the Brood out of the jungle, then the Invoker can really start building some momentum in this game.
Yeah, you kind of feel like it's going to have to be on the back of Kronos. And when the Blink Dagger comes out, if they can actually maybe smoke up with the support duo and just get in there, maybe get down some wards that aren't detected by all this great vision they have inside, provided by Balrog, you might be able to actually catch out the Broodmother unsuspectedly. But it's not going to be an easy task. He's just such a slippery hero to try and deal with.
Yeah. Now, there's one fact of the game that we haven't really touched on, and that's how bad the Luna is farming. We talked about, like, there were some random occurrences that I would honestly call unlucky, with the whole Hellbear and Satyrs and lending their hand to kill off the Luna, essentially. That really sucked, but other than that, it's just while the ganks from the Spirit Breaker have been effective at jumping the top lane, actually that Chronosphere going onto Suta, rare that you actually get a Sunstrike to that effect. But we're actually going to see that take effect. The spiders will go to the bristleback, and the Venge will go to the Invoker. So great kills. Follow up. I'm not sure they get this Spirit Breaker. He'll charge away. He'll be okay. But nevertheless, a great combo of kills. These 2 kills are really what they needed, and with the Observer Sentry and the Chrono, they'll make it happen.
All right, well, now a little bit of a run back here for the Invoker. Again, like, the same thing happened last time. Suddenly he just jumps back. He's, I say only, but he is really only 2k behind the Death Prophet, considering what happened in his mid lane once more, considering they have the Aegis on their side, taking down that Roshan. So 2 more minutes to work with here. MSS is going to show up, but they know, like, they can't go on top of this. Eclipse or not, it's not going to be enough.
So yeah, this Luna needs to tank up a bit. Aegis, it's only not really gonna do much for her in this position. She needs to really just get some raw items out. Benhaz was, like I said, between the camp, between the ganks, between the just consistent pressure from Void and Lich, has been drastically outfarmed. Like, we compared the Void, her main confronter, at 7,200 to her at 5,600. It's just not good. This Luna is not a hero that you want to be playing from behind with. You want to be building up durability so your Eclipse can go for the full duration. And we'll look here as we see the Hex come out onto the Broodmother. They have a Sentry in place. They have the nuke damage. They have the kill. The Chain Frost will, again, not do too much, but it still gets a couple hits here and there. And the Eclipse does about the same. Time Walk in 2 seconds. Does he get it? No! The Nether Strike back. Oh, he gets it at the last possible second. We're going to be seeing him.
4 seconds till charge.
The Earnest Shadows won't do much, but the Time Walk still gets him in the distance to get the blink. Even if there is a charge, it is going to be Brax blinking to safety. He baits him in further. Time dilation would be great here, but he's taking too much damage long range. Still is able to Time Walk. Still is able to survive, baiting the Vengeful Spirit further. Brax is just playing them like a fiddle. And here's the Sunstrike coming out. The charge still on cooldown thanks to the time dilation. And they will make it impossible for him to get away. This is just a perfect kill swing. The Death Prophet tries to make something of it with the Arcade Rune Exorcism. She has the Yules, but this is a 4-hero group. They just can't get involved. In fact, the Luna, no! She's going to go down twice unless the Death Prophet can do something amazing. They will combo up on Brax. No Chronosphere in this engagement, but MSS will stay on top of Enhaz and take that Aegis down. Still, this is giving an opening for a Death Prophet to do a lot more than expected. And they'll leave it at that. Aegis for the Void. That's something on the tail end of that engagement, but still overall really good for Shazam.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised they went back in for the Luna. I know that they feel they're behind and they got to catch up. I guarantee they probably don't think that they were basically even at that point. I wouldn't imagine, you know what I mean? Like, maybe just by the kill score you would, but you would think that with all that space the Luna had earlier on, they might be imagining that she has a little bit more stashed up in the bank, but truly all it is, it's around 2k. It's an ancient stack too.
The important thing is that she had already used her Eclipse, and the Void's Chrono was coming off cooldown in just 2 or 3 seconds. If the Void hadn't been nuked down by that exact combo from the Luna and the DP, then they would have still been able to kill off both targets, actually. Maybe they focused the Death Prophet because the Aegis and the Luna, but either way, that Chronosphere could have tipped the scales, and it just narrowly didn't come out in time.
Yeah, well, Brax, he's got the, obviously the Blink Dagger as well, doing tons of work down there, so being able to avoid that Spirit Breaker, and that's going to be a continuing tool that they can use here against this Broodmother. Keep getting on these Sunstrikes. He's now just 2 points shy of maxing it out, as we start to look into those super powerful Forward Spirits, super powerful Sunstrikes, and possibly a Roshan of their own come to the next round.
Yeah. So I'm looking right now, this Broodmother has picked up a Medallion of Courage. Are we going to see a relic from the past? Is she going to pick up a Solar Crest?
Solar? Yeah, jeez, that item fell off hard, didn't it?
Just a bit, man.
And then it just disappeared. It's like suddenly we just get all of these other mid-game items that were just so much better in so many more scenarios. You know, the Aether Lens, the Glimmer Cape, and then, you know, all these other new Dragon Lances. We got everything coming out these days, so even the Drums buffs had an effect on that. The Vlad's buffs. Everything got Solar Crest got left in the dust after the big one was the no longer piercing BKB, correct?
That is the biggest one. I mean, there were little things elsewhere, the Roshan and such, but the biggest thing definitely is the BKB piercing aspect, where it used to be something that was unheard of. A mischance that goes through BKB, that's something that isn't in Dota for a reason, but, well, they fixed that. It is now an item that, well, it's pretty much obscure for most people that are just familiar with 6.86. It is still an item that can be picked up and create a lot of value. But where I'm seeing even more value, Lich going for a Veil of Discord.
Yeah, that's pretty solid. Got the Invoker on your team. Obviously synergizes well with the Chronosphere. That Crimson Guard is done here, now working on the S and Y, it looks like here for MSS. Yun has the Casual Cloak, of course, too, so he's extremely tanky, very hard to deal with here. I'm not even really sure, like, you don't really have any direct damage that you can actually force to his face.
So we do see the Empowering Haste getting the Spear Breaker away before the drums Smoke Break will take effect, but they're still in position. All of a sudden, they're all at mid, and Balrogs don't have a quick way to get there. Obviously, the Brood would rather split push, and the others, it's just a hard fight. Against all these creeps, the Eclipse is pretty weak. Same with the Chain Frost, of course, but I don't know. It's just better that Shazam are able to get the early damage on the tower, but they don't want to stop it
Brax
there.
went for it. He went for the Chrono,
Yeah,
but
she had just walked away, right?
Yep.
So I was making sure there was no TP cancels on mid, no charge, swap backs, or anything like that, but it is just Brax jumping in, quickly going for the Chronosphere where he saw the Brood was, and realizing, unfortunately, that that's not going to happen. And now, as the Chrono is on cooldown, it feels like the time is not on the Void side. It's going to be Roshan going to be going down in favor of Balrogs once again, and the Exorcism doing some major work in that capacity.
Yeah, it was a nice play though. I mean, they had the TP coming in from stanking. They were ready with the Sunstrike. It was going to be the Finger, the Sunstrike, as well as whatever damage that was going to be provided by Brax. So, props to them. They are going for the Maelstrom too to try and help deal with the push coming in, the Spiderlings.
Yeah, that's really solid to have another response, and of course just to get more damage in the fights in the Chronos and such. It's not like Brax has survivability issues, as you mentioned, so the damage component is going to be very valuable here. He's going to be able to farm a little bit more as well. Farm for him is farm that the Brood or the Luna doesn't get. And what was the last thing? Oh yeah, this is something that is kind of rare to see. The Sunstrike's actually hitting Brood for 100% damage. Usually you'll just put the spiders on top of you, have no trouble against an Exort Invoker. But these Chronospheres have been really good in setting this up, and so far Sota's been taking more damage than I think any other hero when it comes to the Sunstrikes.
Yeah, it's one of those things you don't really tend to notice just because it's always usually like running away from a fight or something like that, that it actually does split on the other units that are nearby in terms of enemies and everything. So Broodmother having a natural advantage there, and well, it looks like just a little bit of vision being provided here on top of CC&C, but no committal here from Jericho, and his role has dramatically decreased. It does tend to happen into the mid-game if you can't keep it going. I wonder, you kind of think like, could Tusk be providing more in this situation right now? Maybe not with the current map position, and that is the Aghanim Scepter I assume you're thinking about.
No, I was actually, you posed an interesting point with the Tusk variation on the draft. Going back to that line, obviously 24 minutes back, it's hard to make the comparison. I would have to say that Tusk would have done more in that against the Invoker directly, and probably would be doing a little bit more now than the Spear Breaker, but I do not think that the Tusk could have done as much to the top lane, and that means that the Void would be stronger and the Luna would be weaker, which, you know, she's already pretty weak. She's got the BKB, she's got the Aegis, but those are crutches to keep her alive throughout a fight.
Yeah, it's all about the vision game too, which is something that Spear Breaker just has a massive edge up on. Saw it in so many scenarios with that running away Invoker, able to secure quite a few kills. MSS guessing correctly here. Following his Glimmer Cape almost perfectly, but there goes the charge.
Oh, but will it be canceled? We have the Cold Snap Invoke. He'll just try to break his charge, try to get away, but he has no TP. He has no way out. He'll fight it, and the Cold Snap will mean he is going to the freezer. It's going to be Bristleback claiming that last hit, and that's going to be them pushing on the bottom lane, most likely taking this tier 1 tower. Though nobody to save top. The Siege Creep Cardi going to finish it off. No deny from the Lich.
I gotta say, I feel like Balrogs went into some unknown store here and they purchased up like 30-minute wards or something, because this ward and this ward and this ward have been there like the entire game. They have been keeping these areas on lockdown. They've been throwing down all these sentries. They have total knowledge of this area, and it's just something that's so valuable when you are running the Spirit Breaker. And of course your Brood as well.
So, what would you think if new patch, Dota comes out, with every 5 minutes, and one Observer Ward gets stocked up in both secret shops, and whoever buys it gets, whichever team buys it gets it first?
Lone Druid continues to be the most overpowered hero.
I like
Salt.
You go to the next level there. No, yeah, I mean, I feel like vision around shops is already pretty important, but I'd love to have just another objective, another priority. And You can't do it on an even minute. You already got the runes. You already got stacking and runes. Like, you got to do it on a like 5 minute or well, that would still fall on 10. I don't know.
Alright, well, dust thrown out there. They don't quite catch Suta. He's only died twice so far, considering the amount of attention he's been grabbing. Doing pretty well up against this Chronosphere. They can't quite pick him off here. Still keeping his net worth up there. He is, well, just dropping down a little bit there to 4th on the chart, but he did go for the Orchid. Hasn't gone back to upgrading this Medallion of Courage yet. I think maybe once he's seeing these items like the Maelstrom come out for Brax, he might consider it, because you kind of hesitate to go for a BKB. You're up against Death Prophet, of course, so everything just physical, pure, other than Cryptswarm, but who cares about that? Moving on later is the Phases Void, and it's all about the swap, right? It's just like, BKB is not going to do anything. Can I really afford to go for something like that when I'm just getting like repositioned out of my Chrono? It just means that the Solar Crest has a lot of value.
Sure. So going back to what you kind of tried to bring into discussion before I started talking about nonsense was the Academ Scepter on the Invoker. It's actually going to be really good here because he doesn't need the Yule setup to make something happen. Well, first of all, he's going to go for the Tornado Quick Invokes, but BKB comes out. Death Prophet, she is taking none of that. Going to get a double Spirit Siphon out and just start running them down. Nether Strike back on the Invoker. Down he shall go. As hard as he tries to go walk away, they will drop the Sentry Ward, and they will bring him down for sure. But we will see Broodmother in the meantime getting picked up by both the Lion and the Void. And the Aegis will be reclaimed for the Luna. So all in all, a 1-for-1 across the map. The Chronosphere committed for the Brood alone. Is that going to cost them the tier 2 mid, or do they have the wherewithal to defend?
Radiant's middle tower
what?
is under attack.
I mean, it's just a misclick.
First the aura, now the game. Balrogs, how many chances must we give you?
FN's like, sorry, it's in the rules. Only 1 misclick per game. That'll be it, guys. And either way, so they won't secure the tower. They're A-okay. Obviously, the Aegis did just expire, and now we're looking towards that as our next round of objective. So what do we go for here? Venjaz appears to be heading in towards a, well, what we assume will be the Manta. And unlikely to be much else. Then again, if it is Manta, like, usually you do see that Yasha first. Is it like chilling on the courier or something? Oh yeah, it is. Okay, we're good. We're chill, guys.
Alright, so Manta will be completed. This is going to be really good against the Chain Frost. No real answer to it until Lion suddenly pulls out that Aghanim Scepter he's been farming for 40 minutes. So, no, it's going to be annoying to try to deal with that Luna. She's going to be able to split push well with it, and it's just going to overall fit into her kit really nicely. She's got some offensive potential, mostly defensive, but as long as she pops Eclipse and is able to connect, there's no Necro books or anything that'll disrupt that. So, yeah, I think that Benhaz is still going to be one of the top damage dealers in the fights, and it comes back to the bottom line. Balrogs have stronger fight potential with ultimates. Unless Shazam pull out just some insane Chronospheres from Brax, I don't see them actually taking full 5 engagements, even though the Brood is probably the lowest contributor.
Yeah, and it's almost the same story as last game where we were looking at Brax on the Earthshaker as well. But this game, they have a real opportunity to actually completely dump all these spells on top. Like the Aghanim Scepter, of course, for CC&C, and no BKBs can come out during the Chrono. So the dream is real, but as you mentioned, like, it's not easy here. Oh, they got him this time.
Yeah.
Suda.
Gonna see the Chain Frost just for the single first hit. They'll get some spiders out of it too, but it is going to be the Invoker last hitting that Broodmother with the Sunstrike, and he's gonna even take it over to mid. Benhaz might have to BKB this one. That's the first BKB coming out. He gets deafened, loses half his health, and now Invoker is gonna be silenced and swapped and stunned and dead. Oh boy, they were able to throw a lot of hate his way thanks to that level 11 Ether swap. And that's going to be Stan King barely TPing out from the Soul Siphon. Nice Fog of War usage there. But Brax, without a Chronosphere, really can't do enough. There's going to be the Eclipse. MSS will take a lot of that damage. But in the end, the Void will fall first. And MSS still in some trouble. The charge in just 4 seconds. Stars Vision lacking around the tree line. But now they see him. And now they go. MSS can go for a TP, but I don't think that he's going to be able to rely on RNG here. They've got the Yules as well. MSS is going to be going down. Can't really look to take anybody else with him. Just leads him on a merry chase, buys time for his allies, but in the end, MSS shall fall.
You dirty fighter.
Aye. This Jericho turning it on now. Back in, he had that little bit of a lull period while everything was kind of feeling it out there, but Now he's back in action. Brax not seeing that charge coming in there, or else he would not have committed onto that Death Prophet. So Jericho turning the tides very quickly, and it made Brax look like a fool for jumping in, and ends up costing MSS his life too as he goes on that wild goose chase up to the north.
You know,
and slipping back.
You know what I would like to see? Net worth graphs for individual heroes as well as teams. I would love to see like where Jericho had his peaks, had his valleys, where he was able to make the most out of the game.
That's actually like shocking that that's not a thing in game yet.
That's Source 3 will fix it. I want to see that.
Radiant's top tower.
I mean, I'm sure if someone just makes a Reddit thread, it'll get fixed. So someone just go ahead and do that, please. Just tag up Bruno.
All right. So we got the Shadow Blade up for the Spirit Breaker. Not really a dramatic net worth advantage, only 5k in terms of net worth and 7,500 in terms of experience. But I just feel like Balrogs have so much more potential to take fights when their cooldowns are up. I mentioned that earlier, but we got to see it even more so because of one big factor: initiation. The Venge swap is a massive range right now. It's going to be 1150 on the swap range at the moment, and then of course they've got the Shadow Blade charge as well.
Oh, smoked up! Nightmare run!
So some trouble for him. Looks like the initiator will be the initiatee, and Jericho will back off as well.
It always feels so powerful watching the Aether Lens whenever it's a hero that has been directly nerfed and balanced around range, and that's certainly the case when it comes to Vengeful Spirit and her Nether swap. Like, it's just been tweaked so many times, and then suddenly it's like, oh, here's an item to just jack it right back up. So the hero does look incredible with it, one of the better ones out there. And, well, we talked about like finally getting Exort, finally getting some of these higher damage spells and skills out here, and they're gonna grab themselves Roshan for the first time this game for Shazam.
Yeah, 36% base damage reduced by Vengeance Aura. They don't care. They will take it down. The Brood will get some decent damage on the tier 3 in the process, but they finally get that Aegis, and they get the cheese on Bristleback as well.
Yeah, that's a great, probably one of, if not the best heroes for actually like timing the damage, getting a really good feel for when you can pop the cheese to that maximum value without totally blowing it. Bristleback's like almost always going to be your best bet for that, so you can expect some nice little plays out from MSS, and with all this incremental damage that you're dealing with when it comes to the Death Prophet, even the Eclipse Beams in a lot of senses, you can get a ton of value out of this cheese. So it could be that contributing factor that could really keep turning these fights and keep the momentum going in Shazam's favor. Sometimes even more so than the Aegis, honestly, because Bristleback's still going to be active during it.
So do they have a gem yet? They do have one on the Lich, so moving around here, there is a definite possibility they could stumble upon him. The problem is the Lich is in the base, so they're just going to have to back off. But I am noticing one pickup here, and I think I'm going to like it. SVG, Ogre Club, looking for that Aghanim Scepter, and in a game with so many damn creeps, it definitely seems like it could create some value. But in the meantime, Broodmother, using the Orchid, goes on to Brax, tries to finish him off. The Mjolnir defense, and he'll just time walk. He'll chrono. He doesn't need to time walk because he needs a kill. Gonna bring down Sota as fast as he can and get out shortly thereafter. He doesn't care. He is the exterminator. This is the Orchid man. This guy doesn't need to reserve his Chronosphere for nothing but that Broodmother.
Yeah, and there was a little bit of chaos in the mid there, so they were a little slow to help him out, but they did get it done in the end. No one died in the mid lane. They were able to repel off Jericho. A little bit of a smoke play here. They have the X's and they're on the back lines, but they're going to spot out that ward being placed down. They're going to move on the high ground. Oh, but they're not reacting.
Go in for the Lich as quickly as possible. They won't be able to get the Chain Frost off due to a beautiful silence from the Death Prophet. They're going to buy back on the Broodmother and get her in. It's going to be Invoker on the front line that gets pursued. He will come back with the Aegis in just 5, but MSS has to make the most of his life. He's using the Quill Sprays, stacking them up hard, doing as much damage as possible. Will he pop the cheese? He will cheese it up, but Broodmother's walking away. Brax trying to help him out. Benha's now the target, is going to be focused down. MSS is still alive. I can't believe it. Finally goes down with his back unturned, and it's going to be Stankin going down as well for a 5-man wipe. They kill the Brood, get a buyback, kill the Luna as well, but they lose 5 and the Aegis on the Invoker.
Yeah, and Stanking, he came back in, he found the gem, and went back in for the Finger of Death on top of the Luna, so I'm not sure if that was worth it, honestly, giving up your gem against the Broodmother, because it's probably, I don't have one of them selected here. In terms of a timer here, they have 3 more minutes without one. But that's not really the concern right now, it's just the buildings.
Yeah, and whether or not they can see them is the least of their worries. They see them. They see them absolutely decimating their structures here. We're going to see the glyph popped, and immediately Sota's confidently moving top. They say we can take 2 lanes at once. once. I'm not exactly sure if that's true, but we'll see a swap out on somebody. It's going to be the Death Prophet if necessary. She's taking a little bit of damage, so they will go ahead and swap, sending the Death Prophet into, or sorry, the Vengeful Spirit into a bad position. Suta takes the top range Rex. That's the value of that Delta split. Splitting the mid lane and the top allows the Broodmother to keep fighting while the Chrono's in play. So she takes the tier 3 top, she takes the barracks, and they only lose the Venge as a result of it. Great positioning, great game sense in general from Balrogs, putting them in a 1-Rax advantage.
Yeah, that's a really tough call to make because you generally, like 99% of the time, it's just like everyone get this tower down. Like, we need a melee Rax. Like, that's the goal here. But they understood the scenario perfectly. They don't understand, like, they don't know the buyback scenarios. They don't know what's going to suddenly come out if all 3 of them get chronoed. You might be surrounded by 5 heroes in an instant and get wiped. So, as you mentioned, great little split up there. And although he knew he wouldn't have time for the melee Rax, he does manage to get down the ranged. And every little bit counts here when it's a Broodmother applying all this pressure.
Absolutely. And I think that they had a pretty good read on Brax's buyback. The fact is, he got the kill on the Brood in the first place, so they knew that he had some reliable gold banked up, and he was probably going to be able to buy back. But they made that assumption that he would. He did, and they played around it perfectly. That Vengeful Spirit kill is not worth the buyback. Obviously, it's better than losing a full lane of Rax, though. Either way, we now have Shazam in a tough position. Constant pressure for multiple lanes. The Invoker, he's found his feet, but he just hasn't done enough, and I would say that's because the Chronospheres have been only solo pickoffs. Does Brax just need to let the Brood go in order to find the bigger spheres?
That's a good question. Because they didn't have it walking up mid, I believe.
No,
right?
they just killed the Broodmother with it, and then she bought back.
Yeah, exactly. So it does seem that the only way that you can really deal with this whole Spirit Siphon, as well as the Exorcism on the Death Prophet and then the Eclipse, is you got to get that 2-man Chrono, and ideally you kind of need Nightmare in there too. It's tough. They're in a really rough position here. So it's a lot of pressure on top of Brax. There is only the Aether Lens as well on top of Stanking, so you don't even have like that blink initiating factors. It's just full reliance on him.
Alright, so we're going to see the charge here on MSS. He's very exposed without a cheese, but he's just going to try to pop this Crimson Guard and bait in his allies. Big Chronosphere could come through here, but he needs to find the circle. No, he gets silenced by the Orchid. Can't follow through. MSS tries to TP, but instead just gets Eul's. So he's going to be going down. And the Lion got picked off on the western side too. So while the best laid plans of mice and men, not to hill of beans, as the Chrono cannot be baited out. And Brax will barely make it out, but
it's way closer than I expected.
yeah, nevertheless, it's a really bad position. Bristleback does not want to buy back now or ever. He needs his next item. He needs a heart or something of that nature. And right now, it's go time. It's going to be Balrogs forcing out the buybacks and trying to disengage. We'll see if Brax can keep him locked in. Tornado, Meteor as well, going to go hard on this Death Prophet. There is going to be a swap away. She doesn't have a BKB, but she does have a Eul's.
Nice Eul's.
The Vengeful Spirit will be going down very slowly, but the Void is dead. The Bristleback had to buy back and is still not contributing enough. He goes in hard. He tries to start spreading those quills, but already the mid barracks are gone, and Sota's not done yet. He's going to be going for the top barracks. Buybacks are lacking on the Radiant side now with the Bristleback and the Void not having those available. If Bristleback does, again, it's GG. But right now, Benhaz just says, well, call it now. We've got 2 lanes down. We're going to focus now onto the Lich. Just spreading damage. What is focus when you can bring everybody down to 20% HP? But Sota now maybe in some trouble as he does lose his BKB, gets cold snapped, gets killed. But again, it's for the grander victory of 2 lanes of Rax.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're okay with the swap scenario. Great plays again. I mean, we talked about it. He got the great Chrono. He got it on the 2. Even the Spirit Breaker charge came on inside, but having the swap out always on deck, and that's one of the, the things you got to look out for when you are drafting that Faceless Void first overall. You're always going to get answered back by the Venge if it's not banned out. And you saw that happen a lot in MDL, where teams that were prioritizing it, like eHome and EG, made sure that if they were first pick, they would ban out the Vengeful Spirit and leave in the Faceless Void. So Not gonna be the case here for Shazam.
Yeah, I mean, the natural progression of that is going to be that the first pick team bans Vengeful Spirit with their second ban, and then the Void gets banned out by the second pick team with their second. I mean, it just seems very clear cut. But at the very least, you're forced, because you have a dominant strategy behind the Void, you're forcing the enemy to waste a ban on a hero they normally wouldn't.
And now it's kind of, I mean, what other options do you have here for Shazam, you know? You just all run up mid. You got to hope and dream.
Yeah, I mean, a really good Veil, the right Chain Frost bounces, they still can make it work. It's just, so far, the spells haven't connected the way they needed to, and the Venge has been so on point. Look at this swap range. Just real quick. Okay, actually, cannot put her on camera while also looking at the barracks, but she has massive swap range. She has an entire screen where the swap and then some, and we'll just see them go for the gradual repel, but Nightmare always in position to respond to the chrono. We're going to be seeing the jump in here. MSS in a bad position. Actually, Stankey going to be going down first, but they're doing nothing in the chrono. They're fighting the heroes outside the chrono. Chain Frost, Veil, and Meteor doing very, very little. The Spirit Breaker will still survive, and MSS is now being targeted down. Dieback for him, and they'll look for one more. Can they get the charge out? They get the swap out, and it's going to be SVG to be brought down
Go for the Invoker
once again. Yeah, with the Force Staff, that range of initiation just allows you to keep going. But Invoker is home free, and I think Brax will be as well. Invoker can go ahead, drop some spells onto this creep wave. But
that was so random, because she waved the Invoker and the Lich, and went for the swap onto the Lich instead.
No, that's...
While he was TPing.
It's going to be some BM from Jericho, dropping some items in front. They know that they've got this one in the bag if they can just win this last fight. But we have the Lich buying back. We have the Lion as well, comboing on Benaz. He has a Satanic. This damage is not permanent. Brax needs to get out before he goes down. The bash, preventing the time walk home. It is going to be the death of the face of Void. And the swap just to go on the Invoker for the BM plays. They are all over this base. They know that they've got this one in the bag, and they have just eliminated Shazam from the first round of BTS America's #3.
Man, this is all coming back from that very first game where Shazam had a total complete walkover on the back of a Chen play, and also just due to the fact that there was like this puck going on in the mid lane that wasn't quite working out there from Balrogs, couldn't combo it up with the gyrocopter and everything else, and suddenly the next two games, they looked a lot better. You know, some names people have definitely heard of, bringing their A game back up there. So the Shazam, their follow, is that total elimination? Is there?
Yeah, this is single elimination. It's a very quick cup. It only goes over 8 days of play, so it is just one and done. The best of 3 concludes with Balrogs taking it 2-1, eliminating Shazam, and they will be advancing forward. So our previous winners were Team Freedom, 2-1. So they will be going up against Balrogs in the next round. So we'll be seeing, right now we're in the round of 16. Of course, we'll be down to the round of 8, and we'll continue to go throughout the next remainder of the week. But that is going to be it for us here in terms of broadcasting tonight. It is going to be Balrogs hold their heads high, and they are looking good. I did not expect that much from this team. Like I said, I knew a couple of these guys from the South American scene, but I would say that Benhaz was probably the most underwhelming in terms of the performance here that we got to see for Balrogs. His teammates that we haven't really heard that much about, Nightmare, Jericho, obviously Tobato, they were able to do so much, and I really got to say that they drafted well. They played around their strategy very effectively, and Shazam experiencing a bit of an upset with their current unstable stand-in, whatever you want to call it, roster. They have these guys on their team, but right now I would say they're still in that kind of trial phase. They're still trying to get their feet underneath them. They're still trying to figure things out, and one thing is that coordination. CCNC didn't have the backup he needed, and that meant that things got out of control very quickly for him. So once again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the best of 3 series here today, and perhaps the prior one as well. We got some great games out of NA Dota, and I'm glad that you guys were here to experience it with us. Once again, sorry, do you have anything else to add?
No, I was just laughing because, you know, we're all experiencing together. It was some serious NA Dota. We had ourselves some wild games, so thanks for bringing me at the last moment. I had a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Well, once again, that is MotPax. You can follow him at MotPax. Bring in the stats, bring in the reads for this game here, and it's been a lot of pleasure. I'm tired. I need to stop. I need to get off a microphone. It's when the sentences start crossing. I don't know. I'm good. All right. At Plays Casting, been a pleasure. we'll see you guys tomorrow for more action here in the BTS Series America's number 3. It will be starting a little bit earlier. We've got 3 matches scheduled instead of 2, so it's going to be 3 p.m. Eastern that we're starting, and we'll just go back-to-back with 3 best-of-3s total. I'll be covering 2 of those. So once again, thanks for tuning in.